again. I'm Sybil Madison Boyd, the Director of the Learning Pathways Program with the Digital Youth Network at DePaul University. This is the second of 5 workshops preparing organizations here in Chicago to be a part of the Chicago City of Learning. The title of this workshop is Badges 101, Organizing Around Learning Goals. Our big goal for today is that organizations will look at their programs for summer and think about the goals that they have for that learning as they begin to think about where badges might fit in that learning. Today we want to focus on interest-powered. So how do we make learning powered by young people's interests and academically oriented? How can we design learning experiences, even if they're in the informal space, that are somehow academically oriented, right, in our efforts to connect these worlds that young people are in?
Interests power learning. They create the momentum that youth have to explore, to create things, and to share with others what they're experiencing. And I think giving opportunities for youth to explore their interests is a critical part of the learning process. They should be immersed in new worlds, new learning environments that might be outside of the norm, so that they can give their minds an opportunity to express wonder. And I think it's through that wonder that interest really is created. Here at CAF, we create different programs in our studios to inspire people to discover why design matters. They start off with this idea of hanging out in our studio and beginning to create a studio mind. Maybe hang out with the people that are interested in that, hang out with the content, and hang out with themselves, exploring, experimenting, and trying new things. As they get more comfortable with that, they start to be confident in messing around and designing things that are a little bit more challenging, using materials they haven't used before, looking at things in different dimensions that they haven't explored. Once they get comfortable using those design thinking skills, then they can geek out. And that geeking out for them is basically using all of their skills in a way that meets the challenge. Youth have more options than ever to be successful in business, in science, in art, in public service. And the issue with connected learning, I think, that is the most challenging is to try to find the relevance that connects what we do in out-of-school time with what's going on in school. Can we embrace the consciousness of today's youth, one that is more mobile, that is comfortable working in a variety of different environments? And our role really should be to create more of a blended environment where what's relevant in their academic or more formal school environment is also relevant and out of school. That we're speaking the same language of learning, but we are facilitating the learning experience in a variety of different ways that could be personalized, that could be motivating and inspirational to the student. The promise of badges in the CCOL environment is it can serve as sort of a physical connector between the learning pathways that are happening within our community. Youth are pursuing an interest that goes through one organization and allows them to leapfrog to another organization and still another organization. And the badges may help us to link these experiences and connect them in such a way that we can start to kind of map out what those pathways are. And that path of study exploration is something that may be unique to each learner. So with CCOL, we want everyone to jump on this bandwagon and to really get excited about reshaping, reimagining, and reforming the city into a comprehensive sort of learning environment where we all get to participate in building this network for youth engagement.
I know. This initiative is not a badging initiative. It's a learning initiative. Badges just add value to the work that we're doing. And so we want to talk about the goals for CCOL badges so that everybody is on the same page and that we understand the work from this point of view. And so we believe, that badges, they play the role of communication to this wider audience. It can communicate to the wider audience what young people have achieved. It's indicative of what young people can do, what they know, and it just tells a story of who they are as a learner. And that's fascinating for people in out of school spaces and in school spaces to be able to, view and understand that young person as a learner. If we can make that connection, talk about revolution, that's a revolution. Badges are also informative, so we want to think about badges as a way to connect, organizations to other organizations. Again, it goes back to the notion that you guys as programs don't have to do all the work by yourselves. So if your kids can acquire a set of skills, in your org and then go deeper in another organization, but how do we begin to make those connections and make them visible to not only the program folks, but the young people and their parents and the community at large? So they have to count. They're instrumental in helping learning count across spaces. So we're in conversation with Chicago Public Schools. We're in conversations with industry to try to sort of understand what the standards are, in specific industry, so we can begin to build toward, what it is that young people need to know how to do. And our plan is to activate this community in a way where badges will count jobs, internships, opportunities like that, so that, again, communities, young people, their parents can begin, so they can see the opportunities that they have in front of them. How do we integrate badges so they add value? Creating badges that are meaningful and purposeful. So CCOL will have 4 types of badges: a community badge, skill badge, a showcase badge, and knowledge badges. And so, of course, each badge represents something different.
Okay, great buzz. Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, so we're about to move into workshop time. So the goals of this workshop time today is for you to think about programs that you're going to launch in the summer. We want you to focus in on those programs and identify the learning goals.
we've thought about a few ways in which badges can do this, and we want to talk through some of these ways with you as you go out and talk to your team members about some of these things that's happening in your program. The first way is really around visibility. You know, in what ways can badges represent young people and what they learn? And again, making that visible to not only themselves but outside audiences. You know, badges, being able to badge these opportunities, they represent this idea of identity for young people and what roles can be played out or be assumed, you know, as they think about these trajectories that they go down based on their interest and their passion. I think that's just really important. The next one is recognition. Again, how can badges formally acknowledge what's being learned, both in the informal spaces and the formal spaces? So again, figuring out how these spaces connect, acknowledging, I mean, we believe in developing these dispositions, one, that can't, you know, that aren't measured normally. So talking about the community badge and habits of mind and dispositions, those are really, really important, but those are things that don't get measured, right? But we want to create and facilitate those opportunities for young people to develop in those ways, which are just as important as developing skills. So recognition for what they do, who they are, and what they can, you know, what they can produce and create. This one is around motivation. And so how can badges help to create a roadmap? You know, a roadmap for young people to see where they can go. This one is around connecting, so helping make connections again across these spaces that might not be obvious. And so again, creating this ecosystem for us all to be able to see a window in and understand the opportunities that young people, you know, are acquired or that young people can gain, and again, they can pursue on their own. As you go back to your spaces, there may be other challenges or opportunities that badges can address when you go back and talk to the folks at your site.
Today during the workshop, I really started thinking a little bit more about how the forest preserves can start formulating some badges that would be really useful for young people across the Cook County region, and helping getting them outdoors and learning about environmental sciences and hopefully connecting with natural areas and with other people interested in those areas.
Like a think tank almost. That's how I felt today, was a huge think tank for us to start collaborating and thinking outside the box. If we can't do it, how do we expect our kids to do it? And I just found it exhilarating. So I'm leaving. My biggest takeaway is the collaborative nature and the foundation that seems to be solidifying even more than last year. And for that, I'm so thankful to be part of this. So thank you.
And one of the tools that they used this morning in regards to helping to design the parameters of the program, that really helps. It's kind of helped me identify the cause, the purpose, as well as the activities that we'll be implementing this summer. And as with the badge program, it gives an extra incentives for my kids to not only participate, but also to grow as an individual with the different skills and their different mindsets, as well as different behavior relationships that will benefit from this. So the overall take was great in regards to the networking. It was plenty of people that are doing great things with kids and with families. And we also built some bridges in regards to partnerships and collaboration. So that's definitely what I took from today, something that's definitive now in regards to me setting up the program for summer, as well as building a continuous relationship with other organizations.
The big takeaway for me is that the framework for this chaotic balance of chaos and order, the framework for this chaotic connection is starting to happen. And the connections that are happening in there is informing the bigger ecosystem that's emerging from it. And we're well on our way for changing the landscape of education in the US, if not the world.